All right, everybody, welcome. This is Steve Tarter and another edition of Tarter Sauce, the podcast here at the Journal-Star in Peoria, Illinois. With me today, Casey Baldovin. Casey, welcome to the and White Sox fan. We need those White Sox fans here wearing the cap. Casey, you're a builder.
Yes.
I think you and I met when we were doing a story on the warehouse district in downtown Peoria. You've got a pretty interesting project down there called The Block.
Yep.
You and Katie Kim, the developer. How do you describe that to somebody who's not from Peoria? Would they say, "What are you doing, Casey?" So how do you answer that?
Like, I guess I'd take that as, what am I doing? So I'm trying to get with that development. I'm trying to bring more of a focus to the downtown warehouse district as far as a destination. So we have a lot of guys that are developing for residential. That's a hot spot right now.
Sure.
So I'm trying to get more job focus, entertainment, experience based down in the warehouse district.
We should just say to people who maybe aren't familiar, we always assume that people read every word in the paper or know Peoria because sometimes they're listening to this from outside the area. The warehouse district, these are literally old warehouses, long-standing buildings. What sort of shape are they in? You know this from a builder's perspective.
Yeah,
it varies, or
it varies greatly. A lot of it depends on obviously how well they were kept up with the roofs. Mostly, a lot of them are old wood timber structures with wood flooring, and a lot of those will have moisture damage, and they take a little bit more extensive. The buildings I bought are all concrete based floors with 16-inch masonry walls, so they're in phenomenal condition.
They're not going to fall down anytime soon.
Kind of why I picked those buildings. A little less cost on the infrastructure.
And you've got some interesting projects going in. Now, when I say The Block, that literally is the name that you guys have for this area in the warehouse district. And it's rather interesting because you're looking, as you said, you want to make it a destination, an outdoor area.
Yep.
And tying into a wedding venue.
Yeah.
That's going to have a ballroom and place for weddings and outdoor activities.
Yep.
And indoor activities.
Yeah. She has two venue spaces inside and then the one outside. And so we're looking. She's going to bring weddings, conferences, any kind of event center.
We should name
Venue Chiska.
Venue Chiska. And she got that from Memphis. I remember that.
Yep.
Because people go, Chiska, what's that about? Well, it's apparently a store, hotel down there.
Down there. Yep. So then outside, we're hoping that we can get a lot of outdoor. Obviously, she's looking for weddings. We're looking, hopefully, a lot of bands will book there so that we can get. That was kind of my vision at the beginning, was get people down there walking around at night. Get them going to a show. Hopefully we can start getting more bars and restaurants down along that area to where you can just kind of come park, on a Saturday and spend all day walking around, go to small markets and
just activities.
Yes.
Get something going. Yeah. And of course the beauty of this, and those people that have been standing in Peoria or standing on the sidelines watching, some people are impatient. Some say, "Oh, we've been hearing a warehouse district forever."
Yeah.
But now you're seeing activity, restaurants, as you said, a lot of the living space. It's moving.
Yeah, it's moving. And, we obviously ask for, if you could just give us a little more patience, a couple more years. There's a lot of activity going down there. I know I'm getting this development online, and then I'm already in the planning process for one just down the street of equal size. So, our focus, my vision is, and I've brought Katie along to help develop with me. I'm piggybacking off of her knowledge as far as getting developments done. And, my biggest thing is what can we get to stabilize the residential and then those people that work down there. You have Caterpillar, OSF, Methodist. If we can get bars, restaurants, something for them to, at lunch, go grab lunch and then come back, grab a drink after work or go to a market, a bicycle shop. Yeah. Hang out for a few hours. And then ultimately driving, I go to Milwaukee, go to Third Ward a lot. People drive from all over to go there. And if we can get outside areas to start coming down to our warehouse district as their destination, whether it's come down, spend the day, go to a Chiefs game, and then just kind of walk through that whole district, hitting all the shops. That's my goal. I think we have a phenomenal base and we're building it. You know, I see what the potential, you know, I see what it is now, what the potential can be. I just want to be a driving factor of what it can be. I want to help it get there.
And we were talking earlier, you're 34 years old, born in San Jose.
Yep.
Came to Peoria with family, raised in Peoria.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I would say raised in Peoria.
But no California, visited it.
Yep.
And you elect to stay in Peoria.
Yeah.
I mean, because I always say, and I've said this, I come from Boston, and I think Peorians, and this is a huge generalization, so bear with me, folks, low self-esteem about the city.
Oh.
Like, what are you doing here?
Yep.
You know, when they find out you're from somewhere else.
It's such a negative to stay here.
Like, you know, why did you get off the train and stay in Peoria?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yet it has many qualities. And again, we don't want to sound like Chamber of Commerce or something, but because we're a newspaper and we usually try to be cynical and nasty and all that. But there are many factors here, and you see them. You travel.
Yes.
So, you know, given that, you would say, I think you'd be an example of it, that, you know, you can attract young people to stay and work in Peoria.
No, I think you can. I think that's the biggest attraction.
Despite Illinois.
Despite Illinois.
Taxing and
if you
all
take Illinois and the tax and the political issues that we have at hand, take those out. Because even with the political issues we have being downstate, you know, my property taxes in Morton are like $2,300 for a $175,000 home. So, and I don't mean to bring numbers out. I'm just saying, like, that's relatively low. And my property values are good. All the schools around here are good. I mean, we have something that people search nationwide for. You know, they want to come here for education. And then you look at what the medical industry has been doing in Illinois in the last 15 to 20 years is incredible. So I think, you know, like you said, I think you touched on it perfectly. The Peoria is an area, there's a lot of self-esteem issues as far as like the area, you know, that it is a negative. It's this huge stigma where, oh, you live in Peoria? Like, why would you want to live there? Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. You know, when I spent a month over in Europe kind of backpacking around, you look at Berlin and Prague, those places look just like here. People want to go over there, given they have a rich history. You know, they have a couple, you know, 1,000 years on us as far as
culture
and architecture. Yeah. But area looks the same. There's no oceans there. You know, so we have a beautiful area. People just feel like, and I think it's been society beating them down in the area that, oh, there's nothing to do here. There's nothing to do. There's activities all over. I mean, just go outside. So
it doesn't faze you that Caterpillar hopped up to Deerfield to their corporate headquarters. Yeah.
No, Caterpillar, I mean, I understand the areas use Caterpillar as the confidence bar for, you know, forever. Right. So I understand when people, I mean, I was in the home market for a lot of years, flipping homes. I understand the buyer confidence with Cat. However, I don't think they understand what the medical industry is doing here. You know, medical. I love our art community. I think we have a phenomenal. I mean, I would compare it in traveling to like what Austin has. You know, our art community is so strong here. People come here for art, and I think we need to capitalize on that. I think we need to showcase it. I just covered the city council meeting this week, and among other things, they agreed or approved Jonathan Romaine's offer to well, he's already bought it, but approved the I guess the use change for the Greeley School to become an arts center. Yes. So right there in the near north side, North Valley, whatever you want to call it, we have a project underway. Yes. And it's art. No, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. And that's great for this area. So I think the confidence will start changing. I think we're going to see that with you know, OSF, Unity Point, Advocate. You know, they're not only just spending money in their facilities, but they're trying to create, I would say, for lack of a better term, like a medical hub, you know, for training and being the leaders in the most innovative area. So I think confidence will start coming back. And as we start, you know, you look at, and as it's a competition for, I guess, development, you look at the north side. I love the Louisville Slugger. That just brings more people to the area. So I don't, yes, I'm in the warehouse district, but I'm more concerned
You're open
about
to the whole area.
Peoria.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see Peoria thriving, and
Right.
so if that's developments in the north side, great, let's do it. Bring stuff for people to do. The golf, like I think it's called Hot Shots, is what they were looking at it bringing. I hope that opens.
Yeah.
That's just
We
one
should
more
know
thing.
pretty soon. They're working on that.
So
And here's another thing too, because you probably would speak to this. I remember when the antique Dan was down there with the antique center, and we're sort of talking about bringing people downtown, and his point was, well, when visitors come to this area, whether they're staying downtown or anywhere, they won't look at the demarcations that the residents do. In other words, they don't look at East Peoria as a separate county. I mean, it is, of course, Tazewell County, but they don't. They equate it all as the area of Peoria. So if you run over to Walmart or the Levy District or whatever, that's part of this area. And we want to sort of make sure people aren't always going over there, because I've heard that too. But at the same time, that's what we are.
It's you still. I use co-marketing as a word a lot when I'm showing the space, and my vision is co-marketing. I'm always stressing, like, I want to bring 7 restaurants down here. I want them to co-market. I want them not to compete. I want them to help each other. Like, let's try
auto
to
dealers.
Yes,
on auto row.
Let's get someone down here, and they'll move between all of them. You don't have to have a reason to come here. And that's
Heights is a perfect example of that.
Exactly. You just walk down the way. People don't even know what they are going to eat when they get there, and that's what I'm trying to do in the warehouse district. But I look at that as for all of the area. We need to use each other's. Just because somebody goes to East Peoria, understandably so, you're not getting their sales tax dollars, but they're in the area. So you want to bring these outside people in. And if they're staying in Peoria, East Peoria, Washington, at a friend's house, but they're coming here to spend money and do activities and spend the weekend, that's the goal.
Well, it kind of reminds me, and again, the podcast is wonderful because we can say things and somebody else can come back later and say, what the heck were you talking about? But the Paradise, which is often a whipping boy because, it's gambling or whatever, but they've complained rather loud and long about all the video poker because they've seen it take their business away, some of their business away. Because whereas you used to have to go across to the boat to put your money in a machine, now you can do it at virtually any bar. So I remember when I was writing business columns, my thought there was, so you need to up your game. In other words, you still have
it's just the evolution of the business.
A service.
Yes.
And that's what I think whether the challenge is for whether it be downtown, warehouse district, or any other part.
Anywhere. That's a great point. I couldn't have made a better one with the Paradise. You have to evolve your business model constantly. That's whether it's a town, municipal, village, city. You constantly have to evolve and adapt because change happens so fast. It seems like it's slow, but you wake up one day and it's completely different. And so I evolve my business model constantly updating, looking at the changes in the market, whether it's my construction company or my development company. I'm constantly looking at where is the next step that I need to make my change so I'm not left in the dust.
So you'd be ahead of the curve.
Yes.
What, Casey, how would you, what's your niche? I mean, obviously all these companies have interesting things that they do. Where would you say yours is in your company?
I would say our niche, I have a background that went from building homes and large-scale remodels as I was growing up and into my early 20s.
And your dad did this?
Yeah. My dad did that, and then I worked for contractors around the area. And then I got into the union and went to work for PJ Hair, worked for them for 11 or 12 years and ran large-scale construction. And so when I left, I've kind of molded the two together. We do large-scale residential, but I have I would like to say I have a good design eye, especially for a guy. But, so I incorporate our design, which is somewhat West Coast and industrial. So I like to stay ahead of the times as much as I possibly can, whether it's residential or commercial. We like to put our spin on it. So I would say that our niche is that we're we're kind of not that big commercial company, but we're not that small residential. We're kind of like a in between area, and kind of carved out a nice little spot.
And with the warehouse district project that we were talking about, the block, which you have different things on, what's the next big thing that you would see in the warehouse district? I mean, either you would like to see, obviously you kind of mapped out an idea of, having people go from place to place, but is there something on the immediate horizon that you don't have to give me specifics, but that you think would sort of get this thing rolling a little faster?
I would
obviously your project is
honestly, I would say live music.
Yeah,
live music,
because that draws people.
It's just energy. Yeah. So to me, it's all energy. You need to concentrate as much high energy and positive energy down there as possible, and I think that live music is the way to get that. I look at what downtown used to be when Madison was still open, and SOPs, and what live music drew to the area. CEFQ Center Stage, you go there when there's a concert going, I mean, it's packed. And so I think that energy kind of overflows into everything. Like if people get excited about a band coming, they're going to go grab some food and a couple drinks, and then after the show, you might catch them sticking around for a while. And so I think that will help draw it. Now, obviously, residents that live down there, that's something they have to, they're going to have to either embrace hearing concerts, or you'll get backlash on it. You're
already I have to tell you, I'm old enough to remember, and you weren't. I don't think you were born yet, but in the 70s, Glen Oak Park, the Peoria Park District, was bringing in. Of course, a different era, different level of money that's being paid for touring acts. But they had a summer series. I think it went a couple of years, but they were bringing top acts to Glen Oak Park.
Yeah,
Beach Boys, Dan Fogelberg, Jeff Beck, names that may not mean anything to you, but the old people out there know what I'm talking about. But they were cut off because of just what you said. The neighborhood thought these things were. I mean, I don't think they went really late, but I could be wrong there. But 10 o'clock at night, they wanted it down, and these things were being amped up, and rock music can travel a little ways. But I thought we look back on it now, and I think Luciano on our staff has done some stories about them, because it's sort of like, what? We had these people here and you paid a few bucks and you could see them. That's sort of a quaint little history, but it's going to be repeated, maybe not with the same people. But what about the ballpark? I know this isn't your field, but you're in that neighborhood. You guys are going to have a nice smaller venue for music.
Yep.
But I'm thinking their season is so short.
Yep.
I mean, they end in August or something. From then on, you got this big old stadium sitting there. Big old. Somebody would say, well, it's 20,000, whatever it is. But I don't think it even gets that. Was it 15? I'm not sure. But that seems like as things develop, that could be used better.
Yeah, I think,
and I think they're open to it.
I think that would be cool to get venues down there.
I know Bob Dylan and Willie Nelson played down there or something in the rain. But wouldn't you know, the one time they did it. But they don't even have to be huge national acts. I think it just to bring people out.
Yeah, to generate people coming down.
The energy you're talking about. What now, as somebody who has made that decision to stay in Peoria, to work in Peoria, obviously Peoria, you've connected here. What do you say to somebody who you meet, whatever, and he goes, "Oh, I got to get out of this town." I mean, it's just not, it's not doing anything for me. Not that you need to be there.
I'm not
the press agent for the city. But what kind of things would you say to somebody that might either not necessarily dissuade them, but have you thought about this? Because I mean, you mentioned it earlier. People who say there's nothing to do here.
Oh, that's the common thing is there's nothing to do here, and the grass is always greener on the other side. Like they act like every other state doesn't have its problems,
right?
But when you look at it, Kentucky, I don't know if they still do, but they had, no state income tax. And then for a corporation, I could go down there and it's like 3 years, no tax if I move a corporation there. But you still have to look at, what is, and this is big for employers. And I mean, it trickles down obviously to employees, but how much is your pay? So no income tax is great. But I need to know what I'm making, what the cost of living is, and so we're looking at there's nothing to do, or I don't get paid enough, or this state's got something better. But if I think the most lazy comment in the world is there's nothing to do. I have like 9 hobbies. I play hockey. I, go fishing, hunting, hiking, camping. We have some of the best trails in Peoria, and you travel an hour south and you've got more. And I mean, we have all of this stuff that you can do. Kayak. I mean, we have some of the best lakes and rivers.
Don't say kayak. Andy Kravitz will come running in here any minute. He's on our staff. He's a big whitewater guy.
Yeah, it's you kayaking and fishing, and so it's like I hear there's nothing to do here, and I just think that's lazy.
And and I'm not going to pick on your other state, California, but just as an example, you said the grass is always greener, and so California's always had this sort of great golden, and it does have so many things to offer. But right now, it has a huge problem in many parts of the state. I won't say the state's too big to be totally general, but in many cities there, you can't afford to live.
Yeah, no, you can't.
You're priced out of the market. Not just in California, I should add. Other states, Seattle and other places where there's great interest in the cities. Only good luck finding a cheap apartment.
Yeah, or a house. It's $50,000 anywhere else. It's $500,000 there. Yeah. And I mean, you can't afford to live there. I mean, I couldn't afford to work there and then live. I'd have to travel. And to me, my time is valuable. So I don't want to have a 2 or 3 hour commute just to live in what's a more activity-based state. I mean, you still have the same problems. You're not going to move out there and suddenly find all this time and money to go surfing and
find gold on the streets.
Yeah, it's like they act like it's paved in gold, but it's not. I mean, you still got to work.
Yeah, you still got to work. There's the motto that we inevitably it comes down to that. Your typical day. I mean, you're obviously in construction, so you're used to probably multitasking all the time. Given that you're working on the warehouse district, are you pretty much involved here in Peoria all the time, or does that take you around across the state?
We do. We'll do Galesburg, Bloomington. Those are our 2 other big markets, but a lot of it we spend most of our time in Peoria.
Okay, and just mentioning that, and you talked about co-marketing, and I think if you pull back a little bit, the whole area benefits if. And I don't say individuals have to do this, but I think it's just sort of a mindset. It's worth thinking about Peoria, Galesburg, Bloomington working together.
Yeah.
Because there's similarities, and to attract people downstate, maybe your thing is somewhere in Galesburg versus Bloomington or in Peoria. It's going to benefit everybody if we don't have this sort of fence-off mentality that, we're better than they are.
Shared
and therefore,
borders.
And you see that because you're working in all those places. Yeah. But it sort of strikes me that Peoria needs to, and you hear this in other states and maybe the ones you've traveled, where they band together. It isn't just one city. It's I don't know. They'll come up with some interesting acronym, but it'll be a whole corner of the state or something, and they'll promote it that way. They'll market it.
I was going to say it's the marketing. Yeah, if they would market together,
which we need to do.
Yes, that we it's. And I understand from a business standpoint, you want to market your town, obviously, to generate business for your residents. But at the same time, it's still, to me, it's success of an area. We need to be focused on the area. The area has to survive ultimately.
And when they went through this whole business of replacing the Heartland group with another act, and I can't remember now all the names, but they went through this 2 or 3 year period where they got people from all over the area, and they talked about what we could do to rebuild it. That was the big key was cooperation. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, like every effort, it eventually ends, and they have to start up again. And I hope that is still out there, because that sentiment, because it made a lot of sense. And I'm stuck covering these meetings, and they're talking about things that I didn't know about that happen in Mason City or happen in other parts of the area. And that's on me that I should know about that. But, we need to promote every place that's in this area. Yep. Well, Casey, we're happy that you came along here and shared the thoughts, and good luck to the White Sox. It's a rebuilding year. What are you going to do? We went through that with the Cubs, and Chicago will be patient and strong.
Yes.
But no, we look for more info and updates on the block in the warehouse district and on you, and just we try to get something going here because I think it's to everyone's benefit.
Yep, let's create that energy.
All right, energy's the word here today. Yeah. I want to thank Adam Garrick, who gets this whole thing out on Facebook and across the internet for all you people who are listening to us in Portugal, wherever you are. Okay, this is Steve Tarter, and we'll see you next time on Tarter Sauce.